welcome back to Math Help with Ms. Harris. It's your favorite math teacher here, Ms. Harris, and in today's lesson we are going to be simplifying expressions using the order of operations. So let's start with vocabulary. The order of operations, or PEMDAS, is parentheses, exponents, multiplication, division, addition, and subtraction. Multiplication and division have a little curly bracket there because they're interchangeable. If you see multiplication first, you'll perform multiplication first. But if you see division before multiplication, you can perform division first. And same goes with addition and subtraction. So after you do the first four, if you see addition before subtraction, you'll add first. But if you see subtraction before addition, you can subtract and then add. So just something to keep in mind for why I put those curly braces there. In this first example, we're just going to simplify the expression. So something I like to do to make sure I remember what my order of operations are is that I just write them down the side of my page. So PEMDAS, and I put the curly brackets around MD and AS so that I remember if I see one of them first, I'll do that first. So let's look to see if we have parentheses. So we do have parentheses here in the middle, and inside the parentheses we have -6. There's nothing inside the parentheses that we need to simplify, so I'm going to leave it as is. Now I'm going to look at the exponent. So our exponent here is right outside the parentheses. The exponent is 2. So that means I have to do -6, whatever's in the parentheses, and square it, which is -6 times -6, which gives us 36. And then I'll just bring everything else down because I didn't touch it yet. So I've done parentheses, I've done exponents. Now I'm looking for multiplication and division. So I have division here. So I need to do the number before the sign as well as the number after the sign. That's my main focus. And I also have to make sure I include the subtraction sign because we're not just looking at 36, we're looking at -36. So whatever sign is in front of my integer or in front of my number, I need to make sure I keep that attached to the number. So -36 divided by 9 is -4. And now I'm gonna bring down that 18 because I still didn't touch the 18. So last step is subtraction. I have 18 minus 4, which is going to give me 14, and this is my final answer. So when we simplify that expression, after we perform all of the steps in the order of operations, we get +14. In example 2, we're gonna simplify an expression that has multiple groupings. So what does that mean? We see that we have parentheses there, which is our first step in the order of operations. But we also have these brackets here. I'm just gonna draw an arrow to them real quick. So we also have those brackets there. What that means is they're just a second set of parentheses that we also need to address. We have to do what's inside those and then work our way outward to the other parentheses. So let's just look at the most inner parentheses. We have 6 minus 3, which is gonna give us 3, and then I'm gonna bring everything else down that I didn't touch yet. Now we have just one number inside of parentheses, and there's a number directly outside of that. When we see a number inside of parentheses and a number directly outside of that, we know the operation we're doing is multiplication. So when I do 3 times 3, I get 9. And now I'm gonna bring down everything else that I didn't touch. Those brackets, the square brackets that we have, act just like parentheses do. It's just because we had multiple groupings why we want them to look different. So that way we know the curved parentheses, we're talking about 6 minus 3, and then the squared off parentheses or the brackets, we're talking about everything inside those two brackets. So now we'll do 9 minus 12. 9 minus 12 gives us -3. And I'm gonna bring down everything else as well. And I'm gonna change them back to curved parentheses because I have no other parentheses that I'm worrying about. Now we're faced with a little bit of a dilemma. We have a minus sign or a negative sign outside of parentheses with a negative number inside the parentheses. So when we see double negatives or minus a negative number, we know that that means we're doing addition. So I always, if I see minus negative or minus minus or negative negative, however you feel comfortable saying it, but we're gonna work on saying that as minus negative, put a circle around it, put a plus over it, because that means the operation we're performing is addition. So I'm gonna rewrite this just so it's cleaner. That means I'm actually doing 16 plus 3. 16 plus 3 gives us 19, and 19 is our final answer after we simplified this expression that had multiple groupings. In these next two examples, we're going to be simplifying expressions that have variables in them, and we're being told what to substitute in place of those variables so that we can simplify these expressions. So it tells me that x equals 5 and y equals 2. So for my expression, x squared plus x minus 12 divided by y squared, I'm first going to start with substituting all of my x values and my y values into this expression. So now my expression has no more variables in it. Now I'm looking at 5 squared plus 5 minus 12 divided by 2 to the second power. So we can't forget we have to simplify this using the order of operations. Our order of operations tells us first to look for parentheses, which there are no parentheses or groupings in this expression. Now we have to look at exponents. And I have exponents that pop up twice here. So I first need to simplify this one, and then I'll simplify that one. So 5 to the second power is 25, and 2 to the second power is 4. And then I'm just gonna bring everything else down that I didn't touch yet. Literally just brought it all down. So we did parentheses, we took care of our exponents. Now we need to see if we have any multiplication, which we don't have any multiplication, but we do have division. So we need to take negative 12, because we need to keep that negative sign or that minus sign attached to the 12 because it's right in front of it. So negative 12 divided by 4 is going to give us negative 3. And then we'll bring the remainder of this expression down. Now I have 25 plus 5 minus 3. So since we took care of division, we have addition and subtraction. And addition comes before subtraction in our expression as we read it from left to right. So I'm going to perform the addition first. So 25 plus 5 is 30. And then I'm going to bring down that minus 3. So 30 minus 3, our last step here, gives us 27. And this is our final answer when we completely simplified this expression that has variables. In this last example, we're taking those same variables, x and y, with x being 5 and y being 2, and we're going to substitute those into this expression. So I'm going to have 5 times 2 in my parentheses to the second power divided by 5 times 2. And you'll see that I used parentheses to symbolize the multiplication that's going on here, because when we see x, y, we know that means x times y. So this is just to remind myself, hey, you're doing multiplication, don't forget. Now our order of operations tells us we've got to look at those parentheses first. Not the one at the end that's telling us to do multiplication, but the one that's right in the beginning. In the parentheses, we have 5 times 2. So when we simplify that, we get 10 and bring everything else down. So we took care of parentheses. Now we need to worry about that exponent. So we have 10 to the second power, and we don't have exponents anywhere else in this expression. So 10 to the second power is the same as 10 times 10. And 10 times 10 is 100. So we took care of parentheses, took care of the exponent. Now when we bring the rest of this down, we need to look at our next step, which is multiplication and division. Remember, those steps are grouped, multiplication and division. When I look at my expression, division comes before multiplication. So since division comes first, I'm going to perform the division first. Even though in the order of operations, multiplication comes before division, we group multiplication and division as consider it one operation. So if we see division before multiplication, we're going to do division before multiplication. So 100 divided by 5 gives us 20, and I have to bring down that times 2. So 20 times 2 is 40, and our final answer here is 40 after we simplified this expression, remembering to substitute x equals 5 and y equals 2 into our expression. So that was a super short video. Tried to keep it super sweet and straight to the point. Hopefully that was helpful for all of you. If you have any questions or comments, feel free to leave them in the comment section below. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time.